Hey guys. Let's try that again. So chilly, just like our Lily. Right. Hey guys, thanks for coming by the channel. Today we're gonna share with you our birth story.
Well, actually more like Lily's birth story.
Oh true, I guess we'll say it's Lily's birth story. But then on YouTube, everyone just says my birth story.
That's like saying that how they were born. Oh, my mom.
Okay, fine. We're gonna tell you about Lily's birth story, and we're keeping it real because honestly, I have no time for makeup anymore. My hair's either in a French braid or in a bun, and Calvin's hair is always this shaggy mess.
It's not a mess.
You just said you're like, oh, my hair.
I need to get a haircut.
Okay, so we're gonna share with you Lily's birth story, and I don't know, I think we're a little bit biased because it's our daughter, but it feels like it was a pretty good story. It's a pretty good one. It's pretty exciting.
It's pretty unique.
It's pretty unique for sure. By the way, I'm going to grab a cup of tea or coffee because it's story time. Okay, so let's start with Lily was born on April 19th, but it all kind of actually started on April 18th instead. So I woke up and I had to go to the bathroom. Surprise, surprise for a 37-week pregnant lady. I had to go to the bathroom, but when I got to the bathroom, I realized I was bleeding. Now, pretty much, I think anyone can figure out when you're pregnant, you don't want anything to be bleeding because that's not normal. And so I freaked out a little bit. Wasn't sure what it was. I'm like, Calvin, what is this? I don't know.
I can't remember what happened after that, but you're
Googled
worried, yeah.
Yeah, we Googled first because I thought it was my mucus plug that fell out, but it didn't look like the mucus plugs on Google. We Google images.
Google image mucus plug. Ugh, gross.
Don't do it. Unless you're pregnant and waiting for it. Anyway, so then we're like, oh no, I don't know what this is. Freaking out a little bit. So we called our midwife. And then she said, that does sound very strange. How much was it? Was it really red blood? Like that kind of thing. And then she said, meet me at the hospital and we'll get you checked out. So we packed our hospital bag just because we didn't.
Perhaps Lily was going to come that day. I don't know.
Yeah, we didn't know. So we packed up, we drove out there. This was like at 6 in the morning. It was really early. And I was supposed to work one more week, so like this is my last week of work. So I was like, okay, call it. I didn't even call a sub. I called my director and I'm like, hey, I'm not coming in. Pregnancy related stuff. Can you find me a sub? Bye. So yeah, we got to the hospital. Oh gosh, it was such a nightmare trying to find.
I couldn't find. It was really hard to find parking, and then once you found parking, it was really hard to find the exact maternity ward. So it took us a little bit of time.
Yeah, because our midwife told us to meet at like door 97. That's only on the outside. And then we're like, okay, wait. We came out at like 95 and we're like, shoot, how do we get to 97? Anyways, so meet my midwife there and then she checks me out. We went through a few tests. I went through a non-stress test and pretty much it just came out to saying it was a very bloody show. That's the best way to put it.
Show is also what they call like the mucus plug, which is like what plops out before the baby comes out.
So it was a mucus plug, but we just didn't realize because there was really a lot of blood, more than most people.
Apparently Asians
bleed a lot.
Yeah, Asians bleed more.
So, fellow Asians watching, just so you know. But anyway, so yeah, we got checked out, and I found out that I was already 2 to 3 centimeters dilated.
Which is good.
Pretty surreal. I'm like, shoot. So my midwife predicted that Lily would be born anytime that week. So fast forward to the next day. You want to tell us part?
Well, the same thing happened like at 4 a.m. in the morning. Rosie like woke me up and said, I think that I'm having contractions. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, go back to sleep. Because that's like the best thing you can do when you're like having contractions. And it's like the middle of the night because like it's going to be a big day ahead of you. So you want to get as much rest as possible so that you have energy to push and actually go through labor. So I was like, okay, should we go back to sleep? And then we'll deal with this later. But it's really exciting at the same time because we knew that like it meant that Lily was going to come like today. So.
And by the way, yes, you will know what a contraction feels like because, ladies, it feels like a period cramp, dial it up 10 notches. It's not super painful yet, but it's really hard to sleep through. It's like, oh my gosh, what is this? Because I didn't know what a contraction was going to feel like. I haven't had my period for 9 months, and I never had that many cramps to begin with, but when I woke up with those cramps, I'm like, contraction. So yeah, they started at about only 30 seconds each. They were really short and brief, and in intensity, if I range it from like 1 to 10, they were at like 3s or something like that. It really wasn't that bad. Like it wasn't like, ooh, a little bit of pain. I was like, okay, let's get through it. But yes.
That lasted for a few hours.
Like 5.5 hours, I think.
About 5 hours, and it was like somewhat regular, like pretty infrequently. Like sometimes it would like be 5 minutes, sometimes it would be like 15 minutes between contractions, and then it would last like sometimes it would be like 30 seconds, sometimes it would last like 2 minutes. So it wasn't really all that consistent.
It's also really hard to time contractions as well too. Like you know when to start the beginning of a contraction, but when it ends is a little bit trickier. When you see your midwife or your doctor, they'll let you know how to time it better. But yeah, it's just a little bit tricky at first too. So I went on for about 5 hours. It was pretty long, and like Calvin said, it fluctuated. And the thing is, we weren't going to call our midwife to go to the hospital or even consider leaving until what we call the 4-1-1 rule, which means you have contractions 4 minutes apart, lasting 1 minute each, and for a duration of 1 hour. We never quite got there.
No, it went like from like around like 10 o'clock. It was still like about 5 minutes. So, and then I was like texting people, telling them like, oh yeah, you know, we're probably gonna go to the hospital pretty soon because it's at 5 minutes. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna take a shower. I'm gonna get something to eat. So that.
And I put my contacts in. I'm like, get ready to go, kind of thing.
Yeah, because I was like, yeah, we're gonna have to start packing, and then we're gonna get in the car and then go to the hospital. It went from like 8.
Ooh, wait, one thing though. But between the hours of 9 and 10, I had contractions still. They were more regular. They were at 5 minutes apart, like we said, but they were upping in intensity. They were getting slowly and slowly much more intense and much more painful. I don't know if you heard me. Like the best way for me to labor through all of it was I was just over either the side of my bed or all over the yoga ball, like leaning on it and then just kind of rocking back and forth, because that helped me get through the contractions better. I tried walking it off. That doesn't work. That makes it so much worse. And lying in bed did not work because I didn't get any sleep after. Anyway, so it was around like 10?
Yeah, around 10 o'clock, the contractions were like about 5. Well, it went from 5 minutes and then it went back up to 8 minutes. So I was like, sort of like, okay, maybe it's not that soon. Maybe we're not going to go to the hospital that soon.
Yeah. We thought maybe we'll go like late afternoon.
Yeah.
Maybe. We're hoping to like get around rush hour though, not go during that time, but.
And then it went from like 8 minutes apart to like 4 minutes apart, like right away. And
we're like, finally, it's at the 4 minute mark.
Yeah. And we're like, okay, I can actually like get ready to go to the hospital now. And then but we're supposed to wait 1 whole hour.
It's supposed to last a whole hour, 4 minute apart contractions.
But then after only like the second push, Rosie was like,
not second push, the second contraction at the 4 minutes.
Sorry, it's the second contraction.
At the 4 minutes apart.
4 minute durations. No, 4 minute.
4 minutes apart.
4 minutes apart.
For about 1 minute.
For about 1 minute.
You haven't had your latte yet, Kelvin. That's why you're not thinking straight.
Yeah, Rosie said that she felt like she needed to push. So at that point, we were like, okay, it's still early, but I'm gonna call like our midwife right now to let her know that like this is happening. So we called the hotline, then they paged our midwife, and then she called back and was like, oh, what's going on? I was like, oh, like contractions are like 4 minutes apart.
But it's only been like 2 contractions.
But Rosie's feeling like she needs to push.
And let me tell you, that pain was, it was so bad. Like I can't even say like, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10 again, this went from like my 3 to 4s to up to like 5 and 6 when it got a little bit more intense. This was like nearing an 8 already. This was pretty bad. Like this is an 8 and 9. And I will say, before I even go into the rest of the birth story, those contractions that I felt that were, like I felt like I needed to push, but I wasn't pushing because I didn't know what was going on. Those were the worst because I felt like I was fighting my body and what I was supposed to do. Nice face, Calvin. But yeah, those I actually would say were so much worse than the actual pushing, I think. Thinking back now, it felt so much worse, even though near the end of the pushing it was pretty intense as well. But we'll get there. So yeah, we called the midwife.
And she was like, okay, well, do you want to go, like, I can meet you at the hospital right now, or I can come to you to just to check on Rosie and make sure everything's okay before we go to the hospital. What do you want to do? And I was like, I have no idea. And like shortly after that, Rosie was going through like another contraction. So the midwife was like, okay, let me hear and let me see like what it sounds like. And so after that contraction happened, she was like, okay, I'm gonna come to you, because she's like, I can get there faster than you can get to the hospital, because I mean, to get Rosie there would take much more time.
Yeah. Also because previously for my contractions, I was sort of moaning and groaning through it. But then with these ones, did you notice I was like screaming? It was actually so bad.
I can't remember.
It's all blurry. But yeah, I was moaning and groaning to get through the ones up to like, level 6. But these level 8s and 9s contractions were like so incredibly bad. Like the only way I could get through the pain was just actually to scream it out and voice it out instead. So I think that was the cue that our midwife knew. Also because it would have taken us more than an hour to get to Women's Hospital, because we live in Burnaby. And for her, it would have only been 15-20 minutes getting here.
So yeah, so I like unlocked the door and told her we're in the
funny
washroom.
Story though. Calvin doesn't know the buzzer code to our apartment. So as I'm going through a contraction, he's like, "Hey, hon, what's the buzzer code?" And he asked me 3 times. I'm like, 3, 2, 2, 7. Damn it!
I don't know.
Didn't know the buzzer code.
Anyways, so the midwife got here and like pretty quickly, like 15 minutes, and this is like already at like 11:15, something like that.
Yeah.
And then so I think he had like one more push. Oh yeah, Rosie was on the toilet pushing, or not pushing.
Oh yeah, because I was
her
laboring.
contractions were on the toilet.
Yeah, I was laboring on the bed, like lying over the bed and the yoga ball for the longest time. But when I felt those urges to push, I just felt like I needed to go to the toilet, because in case anything came out, like it felt better as well laboring on the toilet. Surprisingly, it's actually a very good position. I know it sounds weird and gross, but it felt a lot better than trying to labor on the floor, especially when you felt the need to push. So yeah, she came in. I was in the bathroom on the toilet. What happened then? I forgot.
And then she was like, okay, let's walk you through to the bed, and then she can like see how much you're dilated, and like while you were actually, this is even before she even got here. Actually, we forgot to say that your water broke while we were waiting for her to get there.
Oh yeah, my water broke while our midwife was on her way. Fun fact, people don't normally know this. Your water breaks most likely after your contractions start. Sometimes between contractions and delivery. 10% I think of people have their water break beforehand, but it's a small percentage. Anyways, yeah, so my water broke. She came, she like laid out towels, sheets, and everything. She pretty much brought the hospital. She didn't bring everything yet. She brought some of the stuff, like laid out the mat so we wouldn't get everything mucked up and dirty, because we do have carpet in most of our apartment. So she walked me over to the bed. There was tarps all over the mattress as well, so it was all protected. Anyways, she checked me and she's like, "Honey, you are 10 centimeters dilated. We're gonna start pushing." All right, your baby's gonna be delivered at 12 something, somewhere in that time. And we're like, okay, sure. I was not thinking. I was delirious at this point now. It's really true what they say. In your early stages of labor, you are aware of what you're doing as you are laboring, but when you get to the active stage of labor, where you actually start, is that called active labor? Active labor is 4 minutes apart thing. So this is after. It's like transition, I guess, when you're getting ready to push. I was in my own la la land. I was not there anymore. Like I was just focusing on each one and trying to get through a contraction. He thought I passed out in between contractions. It looked like I did, though.
I'm pretty sure you did.
I think I did sometimes.
Yeah.
I was so tired, though. Okay, anyways.
So you're on the bed. You're like lying on the bed, and then
I chose to labor on the bed for a while because I was so exhausted.
And then you pushed like, I don't know, maybe 6 times.
I had 6 contractions there.
6 or 7 times on the bed, and then like, I don't know, we weren't making much progress.
Oh yeah, and also our midwife called in a secondary midwife to help her out, and then she brought the hospital to our apartment by bringing in pretty much bags and bags of stuff, all the equipment and everything. I think she had a nitrous oxide tank, the laughing gas.
In case you needed to.
I had no chance to even ask for drugs, although I guess I'm glad, because I did want to have a drug-free delivery as much as possible. I did get that, but damn, it hurt. Okay, so yeah, well, I labored 6 contractions. I don't really know the time even. I just remember I labored for a while and we weren't really getting anywhere.
She even put like a mirror in front of you,
Trying to motivate me to keep pushing.
and you could see like what was happening.
Yeah, but I couldn't really focus.
Most guys don't. Most dads say that they don't look down there, but I didn't really care. I was like, oh, this is interesting.
Calvin was brave. But it's part of life, right?
It's not biology.
Anyway, so yeah, we weren't getting anywhere. Just because when you labor on the bed lying down, or even when you're sitting reclined like this, your pelvis is tilted up, so the birth canal is actually tilted up a little bit, and then the baby would have to kind of go down and up to get through and out, and that's why it's not super effective, even though it is
super effective.
It's much more comfortable for laboring, obviously. Yeah. So, since my midwife found or saw me when she first got in when I was sitting on the toilet, she's like, hey, do you want to move over there and give it a try? I'm like, sure, I just want to get this baby out of me and get out of these contractions, because they were super intense contractions. And even though I was trying to push through all of them, they were, oh my gosh, like, really, giving birth is one of the most difficult things my body has ever done. It's true, but every woman says it's hard, gratifying at the end, but it's hard. Anyways, yeah. So we moved to the bathroom to labor for a little bit, and it turns out for my body, sitting on the toilet in that sort of like leaning forward squatting-ish position was the most optimal. I think I pushed Lily up, we said like what, 4 contractions?
Yeah, 3 or 4 contractions.
Yeah, like one of them was to get her further down the canal. On the second one she crowned pretty much, or started to crown. Third one was still crowning a bit, and I had to pause a little bit to give myself a break, and then 4th contraction she came out. It sounds really simple when we tell you the story, but during it, oh my.
Did you feel Lily's head when she was coming?
I felt when she was crowning, because when they say there's like that burning ring of fire, it's not quite a burning, it's not that bad, I don't think, at least not in my opinion, for me at least, but it is a very intense sensation that it doesn't go away. Like, at least with the contraction, once it stops, your body can relax a little bit, but once the baby crowns, and the crowning means the baby's head is like halfway out the canal, like halfway out your vagina pretty much, the perineum part, so the head's half out here, it's stretched at it means your body's stretching at the most, like the most stretching it's gonna do during the birth, pretty much. Like once you get the head through, everything comes out super easy. So yeah, those were pretty tough contractions.
And then like 4 contractions later, and then Lily came up.
Yeah, midwife caught her right behind me, because I had to stand up for the last part so she wouldn't fall in the toilet. And then Calvin was standing up and I was leaning on him instead to support me. But yeah, when she came out, it was all a blur. They put her right to my chest, and I just don't remember what happened. I remember being more awake a little. I was like, oh my gosh, she's here! And she was slimy and covered in everything, but I didn't care. Shoot, that was intense. All in all, it was actually only 9 hours, which I'm very thankful for.
Yeah,
she started at 4, she was delivered at 12:54, so around 1 o'clock. It was only a 9-hour from start to finish. Pretty good for a first time, because normally it's 24 hours kind of thing on average. But yeah. Oh yeah, and then after I birthed Lily, we moved over to the bed instead, because I had to deliver the placenta still. And that feels like nothing. That's literally nothing. Like, you just cough and it goes and it comes right out instead. And then, yeah, the whole time, I don't know, I think I just had her on my chest and we were just like, Calvin's just smiling. I was smiling. We were so happy she finally was here. Yeah, that's pretty much the birth story. It's pretty intense. After the birth, I had to get a few stitches down there because my perineum did rip, but that's normal. It happens in a lot of people. But yeah, so I still have stitches in there. I'm just healing from that and everything. But all in all, I think it was a pretty smooth delivery. Yeah. We didn't plan on having a home birth. We really planned on having it at the hospital in one of those giant birthing tubs at Women's Hospital. Thinking that would be actually pretty nice, probably. But anyways, we didn't get what we planned for. But it still went pretty well.
Yeah, for people that have like uncomplicated, low-risk pregnancies, I would recommend doing a home birth, because it's like more comfortable and you get more privacy, and you're like, once you're done, you're just at home, so you can rest right away, and
especially
you don't have to stay in a hospital.
Especially if you're really far from the hospital, because when we got pregnant, we were living in Vancouver still, so BC Women's was the best idea, and they also are the best stocked facility for birthing. Like, it's like the best hospital to go to. But to get there from where we are now, it's about a 45-minute drive-ish, because there's no real fast highway to get there. You have to go through like the streets of Vancouver. And I could not imagine laboring that much while in the car. I'm pretty sure if we didn't have a midwife, we would have either given birth on the side of a road in a car, or we would have just made it to the hospital, or there would be a paramedic in here helping me deliver. I really don't think I would have made it to the hospital. It would have been pretty tricky. So thank God for our midwife. She is awesome and amazing, and we highly recommend getting a midwife. It's covered by MSP, guys. All over Canada, I'm pretty sure, right? Or at least I know for here. I know,
BC.
at least for BC. We don't know about other provinces. You never know. But yeah, midwives are great. We can do another video about how we're doing now, 3 weeks after baby. But yeah, that's our birth story. If you have any other questions, leave them down below. We'll respond later. Thanks for hanging out with the guys. Hang out with us, guys. And stay tuned for baby vlogs now. See ya.
Oh.
Is it going?
Or